G'day guys, Going from the Car Tune Company. So I normally work on Lexus motors, but today I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to change the fuel filter on a 2009 Subaru Outback. This is the H6 Outback, but it's pretty much the same process for the 2.5, the H4. So this H6, of course, it's the 3.6, it's not the 3 litre. And they changed around about 2009, so if you're doing this on the early one, the process is very similar, the filter is very similar, but a little bit different. If you use some common sense, you can actually apply the same knowledge. The filter's located in the fuel tank. I've been very careful, and I've actually brought the car in. This happens to be my own car, but one of the tricks to start with is try to keep the fuel pretty low. So my one is pretty much
rise up above the dirt and dung.
So it's actually sitting on empty with the light glowing. My fuel computer's telling me I got 70 k's. I can't quite see that. We've got 70 k's left to go. So with the fuel filter, simply what I've got a Ryco one here. Ryco fuel filter. So the part number I'm using for Ryco is a Z932. As I said, the previous one up to 2009 is different, and this is 2009 onwards. They also went from the 3 litre to the 3.6 in the same year. I also got the dealers to give me a filter basket, but I really don't sure that that is the right one, which it'll piss me off a little bit, but that's okay. So we've got to remove the back seat. If you just lift up, there's some little tabs just under the front of the seat. So we lift here, and there's a tab right there. Let's do that again, shall we? So there's the tab that you pull, that pops the seat out. So there's our seat coming out. Next, we've got a bar that goes across the front. The fuel filter is located, I'm going to say driver's side. That might have confused you guys in America. Or having left-hand drive cars, so we drive a right-hand drive car over here, so fuel pump is on the right-hand side. And I pop these tabs out. So to do that, I actually whipped in with my fingers and I squeezed these little lock tabs here on each side. Pop the carpet. And here's that the seat clamp again. Same deal. I put my finger around the front side of it, squeezed it in, lifted it out, then pushed the back side. So we have a plug here. I'm going to undo. Okay, so that's got a lock tab just there that you squeeze. And you've got bolts that go right down the front of this bracket. So I'm doing it the slow way today with the hand ratchet. and then down the front here, under the carpet. So I'm popping the side panels off too, the kick panels. Just give me a little bit more access down the front here. That panel comes out, and again there's a bit of a squeeze to unpop the plug. And that leaves this cover exposed, which is nice. We'll get a screwdriver, so a Phillips head screwdriver. This actually happens to be my own main drive car. I've got a second Subaru that I use around the farm for quick shoots into town and chucking my dog in the back. But this is my nicer car. And sometimes I get hassled for driving a Subaru, but I don't actually care too much. It does what I want because I live 2 k's up a gravel road. So it does the job perfectly. So we have the fuel assembly, the top of the fuel pump, a fuel tank. So we've got the main fitting here. We just squeeze these tabs. Now, I'd actually parked this car in the workshop a couple of hours ago, so it has allowed the pressure to drop off, so there wasn't much pressure there. If you have just done it, then you want to pull the fuel pump fuse out of it. So if you've just driven the car in, pays to ensure that the fuel pump, or you drop your fuel pressure. So there's a 20 amp fuse here, labelled in the top as fuel pump. And you'll drop your fuel pressure down. There you have, drop your fuel pressure right off. Right, then I've got a little tool here. So I have this tool. Again, it's a Ryco product, perfect for doing these jobs. So obviously guys get in there with big poly grips or screwdrivers and a hammer. Not ideal, and this is a much nicer way to complete the job. Now you do want to take note of the direction, the orientation of this unit, because you do want that fuel hose to be in the right place when you put it all back together. So before you take the top off, you do want to tuck the fuel line right out of the way, fit up the tool, once you've loosened off, you can do most of it by hand. Take that out of the way. And then out she'll come. Now you do have a little clip here for the fuel coming from the other side. I've got just a little screwdriver. Let's just hold on with a couple of little clips, little plastic clips. And if you drop it, it won't go too far into that tank. So there we have the fuel pump assembly. Just got a bit of dirt on my hands. I'm going to give them a wash off before we pop that apart. Right, if we look at the replacement, that's looking pretty good, and you can see it's the whole top of the tank. The one I've removed is a genuine Subaru, which does indicate that it possibly has never been changed. I've just removed the retaining clip for the top. I'm not sure whether one of them comes in the packet. Going to unplug the fuel level sensor. So again, there's a little bit there to push in and it unplugs like so. I'm going to unplug the fuel pump itself. Take the seal off. So now we're just going to, there's a clip here. So just the one clip off the one side and it slips out. It's pretty clean in the bottom of there. So the fuel filter is located in here. As we can see, the basket is quite different. It's not the correct basket for the bottom of that pump, which is a bit annoying when I bought it from the dealers. Second spring. So we've popped the seat out that holds the fuel pump in place. And this is O-ringed in. I'm going to unplug the wiring from the top of the fuel pump as well. Like so. And then give that pump a bit of a wiggle and it should pop out. It's O-ringed in. So there's the fuel pump. Basket. Looks nothing like the basket I was supplied. So this car's done 155,000 Ks, and I don't believe it's ever had a fuel filter done. I'll put that aside and get this new one out. So there's the replacement unit. So it's already got an O-ring on there, so that looks absolutely perfect to me. So we'll discard that one and in with the new one. Because the dealer supplied me with the wrong filter basket, I'm going to just give it a quick clean with some brake clean. I would recommend when you're doing this that you don't have naked flames around. I would think that's pretty obvious. And I've supplied a new seal. And the new seal is actually a slightly different size, so we will be fitting that. Okay. The easy way to fit this is going to be to clip this around here like this. And then slide it all together as one unit. There we go. That's the fuel pump clipped in. And then we refit the wiring. So we check those springs are in place. We're going to slide this all back together into this basket. There we go. And we re-plug in fuel level sender. Check that clips in properly. Well, of course you were paying attention of where this all sat. So I'm just going to put a little bit of slippery stuff around this rubber. And we're going to sit that back in that tank. Tuck the gauge in like so. We've got this hose coming up, and that should just clip on. There we go, it's clipped in. Fuel line out of the way, and in it goes. Like so. It is trying to push out a little bit, which is good. And again, I'm going to put some lubricant on the seal, on this retaining clip, retaining ring. I'm using a screwdriver to hold the main fuel line out of the way because it kept hitting my knuckles and it was quite sore. And the arrow pretty much goes to the back. Right, with that retaining clip back in, the retaining ring, we'll just grab the clip for the fuel pump, for the fuel line, slide that on. Check it clips in nicely. We'll plug our plug back together. We'll just confirm it's going to fire up. Now it's running just like normal. Took a moment just to fire up as the fuel came through. Just check there's no fuel leaks. Looks good. Right, now we reassemble it. So that tool is immensely handy. So check that foam is sitting in the right place. Also make sure that when you do plug it in, that it does clip all the way home. Now these run a returnless type fuel system, so there's no return line. The fuel pressure regulator is located in the tank. In fact, in that fuel filter assembly is the fuel pressure regulator. We're going to put that bracket back in the brace. And this wiring needs to go over the top. It plugs in and clips in. Refit the 4 nuts. Right, for the guys from America who say Subaru funny, Subaru. I hope you haven't you've worked out that I'm talking about a Subaru when I say Subaru. It's just one of the funny things we say, the way we pronounce things. I assure you it's the same car. We put the clips back in for the seat and the carpet. And the seat and the carpet on this side. There we have it. Now before I actually put the seat back in, I'm going to just grab my vacuum cleaner and give it a bit of a vacuum. Probably should reclip these kick panels too. Alright, kick panel's on. Let me grab that vacuum cleaner. Give it a quick vacuum and we'll put that seat back in. Call it done. Vacuum cleaning done. And let's put the seat in. Pretty straightforward to lift these seat belts up. Feed the seat in. Bit of a wiggle. And it just clips into place. There you go, guys. So I hope that's been helpful for you, those of you that drive a Subaru or a Subaru 2009 onwards Outback. Also does the legacies, of course. So I'll talk to you again. Catch you later. Hey guys, just before we head off, thought I'd add a little bit of an amendment. I thought I'd take this unit apart. So I've actually just popped the fuel pressure regulator out of it. So there's the fuel pressure reg. Just leave that out of there. We're just going to pour what's going to come out of the bottom of that fuel filter. And you can tell me whether you think it should have been changed. There we have it. There we look. That is not clean petrol. We'll see if we can actually get that filter out. Pa-chung, chung, chung. We're in. So there's the filter. I probably should have got a bigger hammer. This is not as easy as I thought it would have been. There goes my filter. There we have the filter. And you see it's quite discoloured. It's not completely blocked. Still been doing its job. See if we can unravel it. So you can see the greyness in there. So it was a good time to change it. And that'll take the pressure off that fuel pump. Hopefully that fuel pump will last longer. Make the car run a bit better.